What's up YouTube, Silver Dragons here, and this is my 2020 silver stacking update. I'm going to talk about how I've been doing stacking silver in the year 2020, what has changed since the year started, and what I'm going to be doing moving forward. So let's do it! Thank you so much for watching my video. I sincerely appreciate it. If you want to learn more about investing in precious metals, or if you just want to watch awesome videos about gold and silver, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Alright, so much has changed so far in the year 2020. I have to do an update. So at the start of the year, I posted my silver stacking 2020 video where I talked about my goals, what I was planning on doing, and so much has changed over the course of this year. My whole strategy has changed. The price of silver has gone up dramatically. So I really want to talk about sort of how I've been doing on my goals and what I'm going to be doing moving forward. So I'm going to give you some of my tips and strategies for stacking silver here in the second half of 2020. We're over halfway through the year, but I feel like now is a good time to be posting this because there's still a lot of year left. We still have the election coming up. So there's going to be some changes in the price of the precious metals, I think. Silver's already gone up quite a bit with this down economy and the massive demand for physical silver, but I think it has lots more potential. So, all right, let me start out with my goals for stacking silver this year. So what I talked about in my video at the start of the year was that I really want to be focusing more on junk silver. So less of the fun stuff. I guess you could consider this 5-ounce Libertad sort of a fun pickup. But you know what? A lot of people do stack these. They love these. But they have a little bit of a premium. So what I wanted to do was sort of lower the premiums on the stuff I was buying so I could get a lower dollar cost average. This is one thing that lots of silver stackers try to do. They get their cost average as low as they possibly can, so that when the price of silver goes up, they've got lots of room for profits if they want to sell some and take some profits off the table, or they just have more silver, right? Because if you have a lower dollar cost average, you can stack more silver with the same amount of money. So my main goal was to buy junk silver. Now I have bought quite a bit of junk silver. I think this is $half. We got dimes in that one, and then I got most of my quarters out here. So I bought mostly junk silver dimes this year, and most of the ones that I've bought were actually at right around 12x face value, which is unheard of to get that right now. So you're probably looking at like 19x face value for junk silver, it's just insane. The demand is outrageous right now for physical silver. I mean, I'm not surprised. When the economy is down like this, people rush into precious metals, the safe haven assets. So undoubtedly the price of silver is going to go higher. So not only that, but there's also the FOMO aspect, which I have talked about in other videos. It's when people see the price of silver going up, what do? So you would think that they don't buy, they either sell or hold on or wait, but when people see the price go up, they rush in and they buy. So it's happened before in the past, it's happening right now. The demand is higher than it has been in recent memory, and the price is higher than it has been also in recent memory. So it's kind of funny sort of speculating and predicting what's going to happen over the next couple days, because I feel like in the long term, none of this stuff really matters, right? Like $25 silver, to me, that seems really cheap now with how everything's headed. I feel like the price is going to be much higher later in the year. Even maybe next year, it'll be much higher as well. And so it's kind of funny, like $23, $25 silver, whatever. All right, so I got off on a little bit of a tangent, but let me get back to what I've been doing in my strategy. So I've been trying to buy junk silver, and I have acquired quite a bit of it. I think like $300, almost $400 face value in junk silver, which is great. So way more than I had before. I feel way better about my junk silver holdings. Typically, junk silver is really good for bartering or something like that in the future, but also it's just traditionally lower priced than other silver products. So when you buy junk silver, you get it cheap, lower that DCA like I was talking about, the dollar cost average, and then you can have more ounces in your stack for the same amount of money. So I'm really happy with the amount of junk silver I have. Obviously, I want to be picking up more, but the price is just so much higher than when I bought all of this earlier in the year. So let's get to not only how I've been doing, but let's get to sort of my goals moving forward, what I'm thinking for the second half of 2020 here. So I did pick up some fun stuff this year. I got my Boba Fett. Very nice. I'm working on the Star Wars collection, so I got all the Star Wars ones. I have some other collections of different fun silver things I've been buying, but to be honest, I don't really count those in my silver stack. They're more like my silver collection. So just because I've been buying like $30, $40 silver coins, I'm not necessarily trying to stack with those, right? My silver stack is basically my American Silver Eagles and my junk silver, and then I want to incorporate more generic silver. So that's what I'm thinking moving forward. And also, I talked about how I was sort of done buying silver once it crossed over the $20 threshold, but I feel like because there's going to be such higher prices later in the year, and you know, this is kind of speculation, but everything that I'm seeing is moving towards that. So because I think we're going to see really strong demand for silver moving forward, I want to be buying more. So the whole $20 silver thing, that's sort of out the window. I'm going to have to be buying at higher prices. I'm going to have to dollar cost average and just try and keep my average low, which won't be too bad because I do have a lot of cheap silver that I picked up over the last couple years. All right, so in videos in the past, I've talked about my favorite things as an American silver stacker, right? I live in America, and I think that anyone that lives here, you should have two things for sure in your silver stack: American Silver Eagles. Now, this is actually a whole monster box. It's not in the frame, but I guess you'll just have to trust me that it's all of the tubes of Eagles. If you watch my older videos, you know I purchased a monster box, and so, you know, whatever. I actually have over a monster box. I have an additional tube here, so yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. But I feel like if you live in America, American Silver Eagles are like the best thing to be stacking, right? But the price on them is so high right now. The premiums are just through the roof. Because they're so popular. And this is stuff that I've talked about in videos in the past, like buy Eagles, buy Eagles, buy Eagles, because they're great. There's so much demand for them. They're awesome for silver stacking. But now that the premium is super high, I'm like, I can't buy Eagles anymore. Like, I just looked on APMEX and they're charging $36 for one American Silver Eagle. I'm like, come on. A lot of these I got for less than half of that. That's a ridiculous premium. So I feel like moving forward this year, Eagles are definitely out. I'm not going to be able to stack a second monster box of Eagles. That's just not my goal, not my strategy. What about junk silver? Well, lots of the junk silver that I bought, these quarters, you know, the dimes, half dollars. And if you don't know, junk silver is just 90% silver. It's U.S. coinage, dimes, quarters, and half dollars, 1964 or older. But anyway, I feel like junk silver premiums are super high now compared to what they were. I mean, you used to always be able to buy junk silver at spot or just a hair over spot. I mean, all the big bullion dealers last year were selling junk silver for like anywhere between 25 cents to like $1 premium over spot. That's not the case anymore. Premiums are really high on junk silver because, again, there's a lot of demand. And so, you know, I felt like, okay, I live in America. I want to stack Eagles. I want to stack junk. I've sort of done that. So what am I going to do moving forward? Now, if you don't have any junk silver or American Silver Eagles, you can still buy those. Just know you'll be paying a fairly high premium compared to some of the other stuff you could be buying. So what's the third thing to be stacking? It's generic silver. In the United States of America, we don't have to pay any of the VAT, right? The VAT tax like they pay over in Europe. So here, because there's no 20% premium that the government charges, you can buy generic silver or junk silver fairly cheap. Now, you might have taxes depending on what state you live in. I always forget to mention this in my videos because I don't pay any sales tax here in Oregon. And so, you know, I'll talk about like the price of silver, what I'm buying, yada, yada, yada. And people will be like, oh my gosh, what about the taxes? They're just insane when I buy from JM Bullion or AppMax or whatever. And I'm like, hey, I don't pay any sales tax, so I never see it. But if you have to pay sales tax, you have to pay sales tax. The only way to get around that is to maybe buy from an online bullion dealer that isn't charging it yet. I think there's maybe 2 still that aren't. It depends on what state you live in again, but Monument Metals and Hero Bullion, I don't think are charging it yet in most of the states. And then, of course, the other way to buy silver without paying sales tax is to buy it private party, because when you're buying from the guy down the road, he's not going to charge you any sales tax, right? It doesn't matter what state you live in. So this can be kind of sketchy for new buyers, but if you're a veteran stacker, you know how to test silver, you know what's legitimate and stuff like that. So maybe you feel a little bit more comfortable making those private party deals. But anyway, generic silver, I think, is the way to go moving forward. So I did bring out this 5-ounce silver bar from SD Bullion. Definitely one of my favorite places to buy silver online. There's a link in the description for them if you want to check them out for yourself. Now, this was their spot deal a while back. You were able to get 5 ounces at spot. They're not doing that anymore. It would be really cool if they bring it back. So SD Bullion, if anyone out there is watching, we want the spot deal back. But anyway, they still have lots of really great deals. They're like the 3rd biggest bullion dealer in America. So definitely check them out if you want to find some good sales. They definitely have stuff on sale here and there. So, and then other than silver bars, right? So that was a 5 ounce. I think the 10 ounce are more popular, and probably the 1 ounce are even more popular than that. So generic silver bars are a great thing to be buying, but then also generic silver rounds, right? So this is just a few rounds here. They got different designs on them and whatnot, but to me, these are just, generic silver rounds. They are kind of cool, but some of them are milk spotted and stuff like that. So, ooh, that one's actually really sweet, but there is a little bit of spotting on it. So anyway, I feel like generic silver rounds are a great buy. It's definitely something you should be considering purchasing right now. So basically, my strategy has shifted. I'm not really buying the stuff that I want to stack heavily. I'm buying the generics because they're cheaper. So I feel like now that the price of silver is up over 20 bucks, it's more in the, $24, $25 range. Depending on when you're watching the video, it might be a lot higher than that, right? But either way, I feel like just buying the cheapest silver possible is the way to go moving forward. So usually generics are going to be your cheapest option. So I highly recommend for you watching, look into generic silver rounds, generic silver bars. You can even buy kilo bars or 100-ounce bars if you like. You can get the bigger stuff. That's fine. Just buy the cheapest silver you can. Now is the time to be stacking it on the cheap side, because when the price of silver goes up, then the premiums on some of this stuff can get outrageous, which is exactly what's happening right now. So don't pay those crazy premiums. Try to bring that average down as much as you can. So I sort of mentioned that I want to be buying silver over $20 now, and I'm going to be dollar cost averaging. So my strategy moving forward for the rest of the year is to try and buy generic silver, buy it as cheap as I can. So buy the sales, look for the best deals online as well as locally. And then also just make sure that I'm not getting my average too high. Now, I bought a lot of silver that's like $14, $15, $16 silver. So I can still buy up until like the $30 range and still be under $20 an ounce for my average. Now, real quick, if you don't really understand how dollar cost averaging works, let's say you bought 500 ounces of silver, right? So a whole monster box of American Silver Eagles. And let's say you bought this for $10 an ounce, okay? You bought it a while back, but it was only $10 an ounce. Let's say you waited till today, and for some miracle, you were able to find Eagles for $30 a piece, which I feel like that's a steal right now. You definitely could private party, but likely not from any of the online bullion dealers. So if you were able to find Eagles for 30 bucks a piece and you bought another monster box, you would now have 1,000 American Silver Eagles. So you bought 500 at $10, 500 at $30. Your dollar cost average, it's really easy to figure out, it's $20. So you'd still be okay. I mean, you'd still be under spot for your average price of silver that you had stacked. So I'm just trying to basically implement that so I can keep buying more silver and just have the average price of my stack be lower. Now, if you're just getting into silver right now, you're like, hey, Silver Dragons, you know, what are you talking about here? I have to buy at these prices and I have nothing, so my average is just going to be higher. Well, if that's the case, like I said, just buy the cheapest silver you can. Buy the bars, buy the rounds, get this stuff. Don't get the junk, don't get the Eagles. I mean, you can do that if you want, but right now, this is what you should be buying. That's my opinion anyway. So yours might be totally different from mine, and that's okay. Now, regarding junk silver, I actually kind of need to do an updated video on it, because the video I made talking about junk silver prices, I sort of had a little chart, right? How to figure out how much like 15x face value would be, or probably the easiest thing to remember is 14.3x face value is $20 an ounce. So if you could buy a dollar, so let's just say 10 dimes for $14.30 for 10 dimes, that would be $20 an ounce. So 14.3x, remember that. But once we're getting in these higher numbers, like 19x, 20x, my chart that I made doesn't have a lot of the really high numbers on there. So I might have to redo it. But if you want to watch the video on how to price junk silver, how to make sure you don't get scammed when you buy it, I'll put a link up in the corner as well as one down below in the description. Definitely check out that video. It's one of my better videos, I think, explaining the price of things. Now, junk silver can be really hard to buy. I've got so many questions for my videos regarding that, so that's why I made that video. It's basically dedicated to that, so definitely check it out. But that being said, how are you doing with your silver stacking this year? It's been a crazy, crazy year. We saw the price of silver drop all the way to like $12 an ounce. Now, of course, that was just the spot price. Physical silver did not go that low. The cheapest physical silver you could buy was probably around $15 or $16 an ounce, but a lot of stuff was priced higher than that. Now, after that, we've seen the price go up quite a bit, right? We saw $20 silver, and then we've seen it surge way past that up to 26, and now we've had a little bit of a pullback. Not really sure what it's going to do today on Friday, but we'll just have to wait and see. And then next week, I think there will be more demand again, so we can probably see the price keep going up from there. However, it's really anyone's guess, right? I mean, what the price of silver is going to do is speculation, but like I've said in previous videos, what has happened in the world to get silver to where it's at right now, okay? Has any of that changed? Has any of that been resolved? No, okay? So everything that's happened to get silver to where it's at is still happening, right? And there's more demand now and less silver. So I feel like we are going to see the prices continue to rise. You know, what's going to be the peak? How high can it go? I do not know. But, you know, if you like, feel free to comment down in the comment section. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts on how the year's been so far and what we can expect moving forward. So, all right, that wraps up my 2020 silver stacking update video. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to say massive thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Silver Dragons out.